Home Studio Start Podcast.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to Home Studio Start the Podcast, where we break down all those music production techniques you hear about, but might not fully understand.
Yeah.
I'm your host.
And I'm the expert.
And today, we're diving deep into one of those essential mixing tools that can take your tracks from sounding flat and amateurish to wide, deep, and professional.
That's right.
Panning.
Tanning.
Now, we all know the basic idea.
Right.
You move that little knob left and right, and the sound goes from one speaker to the other.
Yeah.
There's so much more to it than that.
There is so much more.
Especially when you start thinking about panning, not just as a left-right placement,
Yes.
but as a way to create a three-dimensional sonic space.
Yeah, a real depth.
Yeah.
That's when things get really interesting.
Exactly.
Because you're not just creating width,
Right.
You're creating a sense of depth.
Yeah.
Where some sounds feel closer to the listener.
Like they're right in front of you.
Yeah.
And some sounds feel further away,
Yeah.
which is a huge part of what makes a mix sound professional. So in this deep dive, we're going to explore everything you need to know about panning.
All right.
From the basic psychology of how our brains perceive sound in space
Right.
to practical techniques for creating width and depth in your mixes.
Right.
We'll look at specific examples from legendary artists like the Beatles and Daft Punk.
Yes.
And we'll give you actionable tips you can start using in your own productions today. So let's get started.
Let's jump in.
So before we jump into specific techniques,
Okay.
it's important to understand the basic concept of the stereo image.
The stereo image.
Because that's the canvas we're working with when we're panning.
Yeah, it really is.
So can you break down what the stereo image is?
Sure. So essentially, the stereo image is the illusion of a three-dimensional sound field created by using two audio channels,
Okay.
left and right.
Our left and right speakers or headphones.
Exactly.
Got it.
When you play a sound through both speakers at the same volume, it appears to come from the center.
Right down the middle.
Yeah, right down the middle.
But when you adjust the volume of the sound in each speaker, so it's louder in one speaker than the other.
That's when you start to create the illusion that the sound is coming from somewhere else in that space.
Interesting.
So if a sound is louder in the left speaker,
Yeah.
your brain interprets that as the sound coming from the left,
Got it.
and
Yeah.
vice versa.
So it's all about tricking our brains a little bit
It is.
to create this sense of space.
Right.
And that's where panning comes in.
That's exactly where panning comes in.
It's the tool we use to manipulate the volume of each sound in each speaker
Yeah.
to position it within the stereo image.
So think of it this way.
Yeah.
The stereo image is your canvas. Panning is your brush.
All right. I like that analogy.
And our brains are the audience experiencing the masterpiece.
Right.
So it's not just about left and right. It's about creating a whole sonic landscape
Okay.
where sounds can feel close or distant,
I'm really starting to see this.
wide or narrow,
Yeah.
and everything in between.
So we've got this left and right thing going on.
Right.
But then there's also this depth thing going on.
Yes.
It's like we're working in three dimensions almost.
Absolutely. It's like we're sculpting with sound.
It's wild.
And your ears are the chisel.
Okay, so we're sculpting with sound.
Yes.
We've got the stereo image.
Right.
We've got our panning tools.
So,
Let's talk about some actual techniques for creating width and depth in our mixes.
okay.
So first off,
Sure.
width. How do we make our mixes sound wide?
Well, one of the most fundamental techniques is strategic panning.
Okay, strategic panning.
So this is all about intentionally placing different instruments across the stereo field.
So not just randomly throwing things left and right.
Not random. No,
Okay.
no.
Okay,
You want to be deliberate about it.
got it.
So a good starting point
Yeah.
is to think about your mix as if it were a band on stage.
It's like a live performance.
Yeah, exactly. So you've got your lead singer
Center stage.
right in the center.
Yeah,
Your drummer behind them.
also pretty central.
Yeah.
Okay,
And then your guitarists.
on either side.
Yeah, maybe one on the left.
And one on the right.
Exactly.
Okay.
So you're using panning to create that same sense of space and separation that you would hear in a live performance.
So it's not just about making things sound wider.
Right.
It's also about making them sound clearer.
Yeah, because when you have everything clustered in the center,
Okay.
it can sound muddy,
Yeah.
especially in the lower frequencies.
Right.
So by spreading things out,
Okay.
you give each instrument room to breathe.
Yeah.
And that makes the mix sound clearer and more defined.
And that makes sense because if you think about a live band,
Yeah.
The reason they're spread out on stage
Yeah.
is so you can hear each instrument clearly.
Exactly.
Right.
So you're applying that same principle to your mixes.
So we're thinking about the mix like a band on stage.
Yes.
We're spreading things out
Spreading things out.
to create clarity.
Clarity and width.
What are some specific instruments that we should think about panning?
Sure. So a good rule of thumb
Yeah.
is to keep the foundation of your track.
Okay.
Things like the kick drum.
Kick
with
drum.
Bass guitar
Yeah.
centered.
Okay.
Because those instruments provide the low-end weight and groove of your song.
Got it.
And you want them to be solid and anchored in the mix,
Right in the middle.
right down the middle.
Okay.
Then you can start to pan other instruments to the sides.
Okay. Like what?
So things like rhythm guitars,
Okay.
keyboards,
Okay.
background vocals.
Yeah.
Those are all good candidates for panning,
So for example,
for example.
if I've got a rhythm guitar track,
Right.
I might pan one instance of it slightly to the left.
Yeah, maybe like 20% or 30%.
Okay.
And then I might pan another instance of it.
Like a copy of it.
Yeah, a duplicate track
Okay.
to the right by the same amount.
So 20 or 30% to the right.
Exactly.
Okay.
And that will instantly create a wider and fuller guitar sound.
Okay, so we're creating this stereo image of the guitar
Yeah, exactly.
by having it coming out of both speakers
Right.
and not just one.
And it also helps to separate the frequencies of the two guitars.
Okay.
So they don't clash with each other.
So it's not just about width.
Right.
It's about clarity as well.
It's about both.
Okay, cool.
Now, another way to create width
Okay.
is to use stereo widening plugins.
Stereo widening plugins.
Yeah.
I've definitely seen those before.
So these plugins can manipulate the phase and delay of a signal
Okay.
to create the illusion of a wider sound source.
So it's like they're tricking our brains again
Exactly.
to think that the sound is wider than it actually is.
They work by introducing subtle differences in timing
Okay.
or the phase relationship between the left and right signals.
Interesting.
And our brains interpret those differences as increased width
So they're kind of messing with the audio signal
in a clever way.
to create this illusion.
Yeah, to create this illusion of width.
So what are some popular stereo widening plugins?
Well, there are tons out there.
Yeah.
But a couple of the most well-known ones are Isotope Ozone Imager
Okay.
and Waves S1 Stereo Imager.
I've heard of those.
Those are both great options.
But you mentioned earlier that we have to be careful with these plugins.
Yes, you do.
Why is that?
Because if you overdo it,
Okay.
you can end up with phase issues.
Phase issues.
Yeah.
What are phase issues?
So phase issues occur when you have two or more signals that are very similar,
Okay.
but slightly out of sync with each other.
Okay.
And this can cause problems when your mix is played back in mono.
In mono.
Yeah,
Okay.
because in mono, both the left and right channels are combined into a single channel.
Got it.
And when you have phase issues, those out of sync signals can cancel each other out.
So the sound will disappear.
Yeah, or it can sound thin or weak.
So it's like they're fighting each other.
Exactly.
Okay.
So you want to use stereo widening plugins sparingly and always check your mix in mono.
To make sure you're not creating any phase issues.
Exactly.
So it's like a little bit of spice.
Yes,
You don't want to overdo it.
exactly.
What are some good instruments to use these widening plugins on?
Well, they can be really effective on background elements.
Okay.
Things that don't need to be super focused in the mix.
Okay, like what?
So things like synth pads,
Synth pads.
background vocals,
Yeah,
ambient textures.
got it.
Those are all good candidates for stereo widening.
Because they can kind of fill out the space
Exactly.
without cluttering up the center.
Right.
So you're using them to create this sense of atmosphere.
Yeah, this kind of immersive feeling.
Okay, good.
But again, you want to use them subtly
Right.
and always check your mix in mono.
Got it.
Now, another technique for creating width
Okay.
is mid-side processing.
Mid-side processing. You
Yeah.
mentioned that earlier.
We did.
But I'm still not entirely sure what it is.
Okay, so mid-side processing is a way of looking at your stereo signal in two components,
Okay.
the mid
The mid?
and the
So-
side.
Looks
So
like-
the mid signal is everything that's the same in both the left and right channels.
So like the center information?
Exactly.
Okay.
And the side signal
Okay.
is everything that's different between the left and right channels.
So like the stereo information.
Yeah, exactly.
So we're separating the center from the sides.
You got it?
And then what?
So once you've separated the mid and side signals,
Okay.
you can process them independently.
Okay.
So you can, for example,
Yeah.
increase the level of the side
To
signal.
make the mix wider?
Exactly.
Oh.
And you can also decrease the level of the mid signal.
To make the center more focused.
Yeah, so it's a really powerful technique
Interesting.
for shaping the stereo image.
What are some good examples of when you might use mid-side processing?
Well, one example is if you have a reverb return that's sounding a little too wide, you can use mid-side processing to narrow it.
By turning down the sides.
Exactly.
Right.
Or you can use it to widen specific frequency ranges in your mix.
Okay.
For example, you might want to widen the high frequencies to create a sense of air and space.
But you don't want to widen the low frequencies because that might make the mix sound muddy.
Yeah, exactly.
So you can use mid-side processing to selectively widen the high frequencies
Exactly.
while keeping the low frequencies tight and focused.
You've got it.
So it's like a surgical tool
Yes, it is.
for shaping the stereo image.
Precisely.
Okay, so we've talked a lot about width,
We have
but what about depth?
depth.
How do we make our mixes sound like they have depth?
Like some sounds are closer and some sounds are further away.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, one of the main techniques for creating depth
Okay.
is to use panning in combination with level automation.
So it's not just about where a sound is panned.
Right.
It's also about how loud it is.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So, for example, you might have a lead vocal that's panned center,
Right?
and you want it to feel really close and intimate.
Right.
So you keep it at a fairly consistent volume throughout the song.
Okay.
But then you might have some backing vocals that you want to feel further away.
Right.
So you pan them slightly to the sides.
Okay.
And you also automate their volume so they're a bit quieter than the lead vocal.
So it's like they're in the background.
Exactly.
Got it.
And you can use the same technique with other instruments as well.
Like what?
Well, let's say you have a guitar solo.
Okay.
During the verses, you might have it panned slightly off to the side
Okay.
and at a lower volume.
Just kind of tucked away?
Yeah, it's kind of sitting in the back.
Okay.
But then when the solo comes in,
Yeah.
you can automate the panning
Okay.
so it moves closer to the center.
Interesting.
And you can also automate the volume so it gets louder.
So it feels like it's coming forward.
Yeah, it's like it's stepping into the spotlight.
That's really cool.
And that creates a sense of dynamic movement and excitement in the mix.
I like that.
Another way to create depth is to use reverb.
Reverb.
Yeah.
How does reverb create depth?
Well, reverb is the sound of a space.
Okay.
So when you add reverb to a sound,
Okay.
you're essentially placing that sound in a virtual space.
Interesting.
And the more reverb you add,
Yeah.
the further away the sound will feel.
So it's like you're pushing it back into the mix.
Exactly.
Okay.
So you can use reverb to create a sense of depth by adding more reverb to sounds that you want to feel further away.
And less reverb to sounds that you want to feel closer.
Exactly.
Okay.
And you can also use different types of reverb
Oh.
to create different types of spaces.
So like a small room reverb
Yeah.
would make a sound feel closer
Yeah.
than a large hall reverb.
Exactly.
Okay.
So reverb is a really powerful tool for creating depth.
That sounds like it.
But again, you want to use it in moderation
Right.
because too much reverb can make your mix sound washed out and muddy.
So it's about finding that sweet spot
All
where it's creating depth
depth.
without making the mix sound bad.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've talked about width.
Yes.
We talked about depth.
Yes.
So let's talk about some specific examples of how these techniques are used in real music.
Okay.
So one of the most famous examples of panning
Yeah.
is the Beatles song, A Day in the Life.
A Day in the Life.
That song is full of incredible panning tricks.
It is.
Can you give us an example?
Sure. So one of the most striking examples is the orchestral crescendos.
Yeah, those are huge.
They are massive.
So what do they do with panning on those?
Well, they pan the orchestra really wide.
Like hard left and right?
Yeah, almost all the way to the edges of the stereo field.
So it creates this huge wall of sound.
Exactly.
And it really emphasizes the drama of those crescendos.
It does.
Another interesting example of panning is Daft Punk's song, Get Lucky.
Get lucky.
That song has this really cool guitar riff.
It does.
Pans from side to side.
It does.
It's really subtle,
It is.
but it adds this really nice sense of movement and groove to the track.
Yeah, it's a great example of how you can use panning to create a sense of motion in your mixes.
So these are just a couple of examples
Right.
of how panning can be used to create really interesting and creative effects.
Yeah,
And there are countless other examples out there.
there are.
So the best way to learn is to just listen to your favorite music
Yeah.
and pay attention to how the panning is being used.
And try to figure out what they did and how they did it.
Yeah.
And then try to recreate those effects in your own mixes.
So we've covered a lot of ground today.
We have.
But I think the main takeaway is that panning is not just a technical detail.
Right.
It's a creative tool
It is.
that you can use to shape the sound of your mixes,
Shape the sound.
create depth,
Depth.
width,
Yes.
and really bring your music to life.
Yeah, and it's something that you should be thinking about from the very beginning of the mixing process.
Right from the start.
Because it can have a huge impact on the overall feel of your tracks.
So for all you home studio heroes out there, don't be afraid to experiment with panning.
Experiment.
Try different things.
Different things.
See what works.
See what works.
And most importantly, have fun.
Have fun.
Because that's what it's all about.
It is.
So thanks for joining us on this deep dive into panning.
Yeah. Thanks for listening.
And until next time,
keep creating.
Keep those mixes wide and deep.
Wide and deep.
And we'll catch you in the next episode.
See you later.
Before you go, I want to leave you with something to ponder. We've talked a lot about the technical aspects of panning and how it creates width and depth and clarity, but I think there's an even deeper level to this. Think about how panning can actually be used to tell a story with sound, to create a sense of place or atmosphere or emotion. How can you use panning to guide the listener's attention, to create tension and release, to evoke a specific feeling or mood? It's something to really think about as you continue your journey in music production, because when you master the art of panning, you're not just mixing sounds, you're shaping experiences.